The point progression for you has been insane. 27 from the first season that you came into the O, then 65 last season, and you're already breaking that by over 20 points this season, and it's just going to continue to climb here, I think, throughout the playoffs. Sadly, those statistics won't count towards that total. But how do you feel that will motivate you towards going into future rounds throughout the playoffs?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, had a pretty good disperse of production against different teams, and obviously in the Eastern Conference, those are the teams we're going to be playing in the playoffs. So obviously it's kind of nice to know that I've had good games against those teams, and I know I can produce against them, and ultimately come out, maybe score a goal, maybe make a nice play, and then create a goal and create an opportunity. So yeah, there's definitely a big confidence boost going to the playoffs, knowing that I've had a couple pretty good games against every team that we might possibly face.
You've faced a lot of the Eastern Western Conference teams, not so much of the Western Conference teams, but when you have faced them, especially some of those top four guys, London, Windsor, you guys have really brought it to them, and especially with Windsor having come, I think, a couple of weeks before the playoffs here started, it was an absolute barn burner of a matchup between you guys. So could you talk to me about how that game may have led you towards that confidence boost that, continued to ride you guys through that streak there at home?
I mean, yeah, I think it's just kind of, we're an older team this year. A lot of guys have been through the playoffs, and even just have played a lot of big games. I think it's just ultimately raising the level of our compete and just kind of the way we play and being more detailed in the bigger games. Obviously, when you play teams that are a little lower in the standings, you think you might take your foot off the gas. That's usually when you get bit pretty hard, and they'll give you a good fight. But I think we have a pretty resilient group this year, and like you said, in every big game, we've given the good teams a pretty good run and either beat them or had a very close game.
Troy Min is in his second season as head coach here for the Kingston Frontenacs. You had the chance to play with him in the playoffs last season. How do you feel like that mentality from him and that motivation from him will be a major motivation for you guys?
He's a big believer in us. I think that's what makes us so good is he genuinely believes in our team and each and every player, as well as the whole coaching staff, just all being on the same page and just building a good system and a program for us to follow, make it easy for us because obviously they understand not only are we hockey players, we're people as well.
Right.
I think that's what kind of the great thing about us is we have such a good relationship with our whole coaching staff. I think Troy just does a really good job of making sure everyone's comfortable at the rink and just giving us all confidence to be the best player we can, the best person we can. We had a little bit of a taste of the playoffs last year. Now we brought in some guys that have been on runs. So yeah, we're looking to make a pretty good push, and Troy should be a great help for that.
We've seen you take on a leadership role throughout this season, especially with being one of the top point providers here for us. Could you talk to me a little bit about how that relationship must be with some of the younger guys? Because I know last year we had guys like Luds and stuff like that were there to help you with some of the, as you were coming up. Now you're kind of being put into that role. Could you talk to me a little bit about how that must feel and why it's so important to just continue to help grow and motivate the younger guys that keep coming into this development program?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Obviously, me being a third-year guy, I'm kind of in that middle age group, the divider. That's kind of where some teams get split up between the older guys and the younger guys, and just kind of trying to be that merger for the younger guys and the older guys, just to really help us become a team. It's been a really, really nice opportunity to have, and just a really cool chance to be that guy that you can come to the rink and you can talk to the young guys, you can hang out with the young guys, and then you can go talk and hang out with the older guys as well. So it's, merging as a team and a brotherhood, and just having an opportunity to kind of be that guy has been really, really cool.
Speaking of merging, we've got to talk about that front line that you and Seti and everybody else have really put together this season. It has absolutely been one of the most power forwards for us, getting the points that we've really needed to put us into the position that we are now here in the playoffs. I've got to ask you, is there a certain quirk or, individual talent that makes that line work so well, where you all have your own individual talents, or is it the meshing and the blending of all of those talents working so well together that you're just able to find yourselves? Because I find myself, even when I'm watching the TV at times, having to do a double take, wait, they did what with that puck? Yeah. So I'm just curious if you could explain.
I think it's definitely a combo of all of our individual skills and kind of thought processes coming together, and just I think the biggest thing and best thing about the kind of success we've had is all three of us are very, very unselfish. I mean, I'll be just as happy as I score than if Toomey or Seti scores. I'll be just as excited. I think, Toomey's got the best shot, not one of the best. He has the best shot I've probably ever seen. He can just effortlessly shoot the puck. Seti's super smart, very skilled with the puck. Always can, make plays out of nothing. And I think, again, I'm a pretty good playmaker and pretty smart. I think just those three combined. And the best thing is we all have a goal-scoring touch too, so we get to the good areas, we put pucks in the net.
Right.
So I think, just all three of those little skills coming together just has really helped us with our production.
The barn is going to be packed throughout the playoffs. I've got to ask, what is going to be more nerve-wracking? Stepping out onto that ice every time you hear that home crowd going, or when you had to get up on stage and do the Steve Dangle podcast live in front of everybody there?
I'd honestly say they're pretty even. I mean, honestly, it might be the podcast because that's a little out of my comfort zone. I mean, I feel pretty comfortable stepping on the ice. I mean, I've been playing hockey since I was 4 years old, so I mean, playing a hockey game I don't ever really get too nervous. Even the bigger games, again, it's just a game of hockey. It's always fun. But I think, that was a little out of the blue. Like, you don't really do that too much. And just kind of having a lot of eyes on me really up close and personal, because on the ice you can kind of hide and you don't know if everyone's looking at you. But when you're in that kind of setting and everyone's looking at you, and then you got to talk in front of everyone, I think that was a little more nerve-wracking than a playoff game.